It's been 5 weeks since federal authorities raided Diddy's properties in L.A. and Miami as part of a sex trafficking investigation.
All right, now the music mogul has filed a motion to dismiss some claims in a sexual assault lawsuit.
Attorneys for Sean Diddy Combs filed a motion to throw out some of the claims made by Joi Dickerson Neal in her Manhattan State Supreme Court civil case because they weren't on the books at the time. She alleges in 1991, Sean Diddy Combs drugged her, then sexually assaulted her. In the suit, she says he videotaped and distributed it.
With regards to some of the older claims, what his filing is ultimately noting is that some of these laws weren't even in effect or applicable either at the time of the alleged offense.
Hamilton tells me the strategy is clear.
Any claim that you can potentially get dismissed is less that you have to fight later. And right now, Diddy has a lot to fight.
5 weeks after the Homeland Security Investigations agents raided Diddy's Los Angeles and Miami homes, so far he has not been arrested or charged. Some people think nothing is happening, but Hamilton says that's wrong.
As a seasoned criminal defense attorney, I would certainly say that 5 weeks in the span of an federal investigation, it is nothing in many respects. I mean, you have these investigations that at times go on for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years.
Diddy's personal assistant, former Syracuse University basketball player Brendan Paul, has been charged by local authorities with 2 drug-related felonies in Miami. He allegedly had cocaine in his luggage at Opelika Executive Airport with Diddy on the day of the raids. He pleaded not guilty, but his legal problems could get bigger, says Hamilton.
The question becomes, are those charges at some later point going to be tied in to any other potential investigation that's going on? Or are those charges and that plea going to be used to leverage cooperation in any kind of investigation?
In a new TMZ documentary called The Downfall of Diddy on Tubi, Diddy's enemy for years, former Death Row Records founder Suge Knight, who's currently incarcerated, offers some support as he talks with Harvey Levin.
I feel it's a bad day for hip-hop. Bad day for the culture because it makes us all look bad.
Now, Dickerson Neal claims that Cassie Ventura filing her bombshell lawsuit last November actually dredged up all of these memories of her sexual assault and prompted her to face those memories. She claims she wasn't able to complete her college degree at Syracuse because she associated it with the assault. Dickerson Neal's social media accounts show that she is still now living in California after moving there to try her hand at screenwriting, and it doesn't appear that she's had much success with that. Now, another interesting little nugget in Dickerson Neal's complaint is the fact that she said she was digitizing diaries from the early 90s during COVID, but she abandoned that project because it dredged up too many painful memories. It kind of makes you wonder, what's in those diaries? Does it mention anything about this? She also claims to have undergone years of therapy for PTSD. But Combs is now firing back at Dickerson Neal. He's vehemently denying her claims that he sexually assaulted her. He filed a partial motion to dismiss her lawsuit, writing, quote, without addressing the complaint's numerous false, offensive, and salacious accusations, which the Combs defendants vehemently deny, substantially all of the claims purportedly alleged by Joi Dickerson Neal cannot survive this motion to dismiss because they were brought under statutes that did not exist at the time the alleged misconduct occurred and against corporate entities that were not formed or in existence. While Combs denies the sexual assault ever happened, Combs's lawyer also says Joi Dickerson Neal is trying to file a lawsuit citing laws that didn't even exist back in 1991. Quote, while the Adult Survivors Act, or the ASA, revived certain claims for which the statute of limitations has run, the ASA does not permit a plaintiff to revive claims under statutes that did not exist when the purported misconduct allegedly occurred. The 4 statutes underlying plaintiff's claims were enacted years after the 1991 conduct alleged in the complaint, and they cannot be retroactively applied to that alleged conduct, absent clear legislative intent. Now, those statutes include laws governing revenge porn, and that's a relatively new term for when someone uses a sexual encounter or nude pictures of somebody or videos to harass and embarrass a person. Dickerson Neal also cited the New York Services for Victims of Human Trafficking Law and the New York City Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Law. Those were all enacted years after this alleged sexual assault occurred in 1991. And Bad Boy Records is also named in the lawsuit. That's Combs's record company. But his lawyers say there's a problem with that too. They say Bad Boy Records was actually formed after the alleged assault occurred, which Combs, of course, denies ever happened.
I think that this is an extremely difficult case, besides the fact that it's so personal and involves such a sensitive act and crime. But just the sheer duration and time that has gone on since this happened makes it really hard to bring in evidence and witnesses and materials that would corroborate this story, just based on that it's been over 30 years since this act took place.